You walk into a meeting 6 minutes late. The chair scrapes. The slide changes. 8 heads turn. You can feel it. Every set of eyes. Every silent judgment. You're going to be thinking about it tonight at 11 p.m. Trust me. So is the rest of that meeting. Right? Wrong. Almost completely wrong. And the gap between what you feel and what is actually happening, that gap has a name, a study behind it, and a 25-year stack of research saying you have been spending most of your social life worrying about an audience that isn't there. You probably have a private highlight reel of these moments, a text with a typo, a wave back at the wrong person, a name you forgot in the middle of saying it. Those moments live rent-free in your head. Almost nobody else remembers a single frame of them. 2 of them glanced up. One was waiting for someone else. The other looked back down at her laptop before you sat. The rest didn't notice you walk in. They didn't notice the chair. They didn't notice the time on the clock. And the 2 who did notice, they forgot inside a minute. You were the only person still rewatching the entrance. Psychologists have a name for this: the spotlight effect. The year is 1999. A psychologist at Cornell named Savitsky Gilovich has a strange idea. He buys a stack of t-shirts. Each one has Barry Manilow's face on the front. Big. Cartoon grin big. In 1999, on a college campus, a Barry Manilow shirt was the social equivalent of a sandwich board that read, "Please judge me." Gilovich asked each student to put the shirt on, walk into a classroom of about 5 other students sitting silently, and then walk back out a few seconds later. In the hallway, the researcher asked one question. Of the people in that room, how many noticed your shirt? The students guessed. Half. Roughly half the room. 46% on average. They were sure. Reality? 23%. About half what the wearers predicted. The students believed they were twice as visible as they actually were. Now here's the twist. Gilovich didn't stop with the embarrassing shirts. He ran it again with shirts the students felt proud of. Bob Marley, Martin Luther King Jr., Jerry Seinfeld. The gap got bigger. Wearers predicted 48%. Reality? 8%. A 40-point miss. The spotlight effect isn't really about embarrassment. Proud, ashamed, neither. Your brain still thinks the room is watching. The room isn't. Gilovich went further. The original 2000 paper actually contained 5 separate studies, not one. In another version, students had a group discussion and were afterwards asked how much the group remembered about what they said. Their best comments, their worst moments, the awkward pauses where they tried to recover. Same answer every time. People thought the group remembered far more than the group actually did. The pattern is brutal in its consistency. So why is your brain so wrong? Here is the simplest version. You only ever experience the world from one point of view. Yours. You feel your own nerves. You notice your own breath. You see yourself in mirrors. You hear your voice from inside your skull. You are the protagonist of every scene you have ever been inside. So your brain assumes everyone else is paying attention to you too. They're not. They're doing exactly what you're doing, starring in their own movie. The lady standing behind you in the supermarket line is not noting that your sweatshirt has a small hole at the collar. She is trying to remember if she paid the electric bill. The guy waiting at the crosswalk is not cataloging your weird haircut. He is replaying a conversation with his brother from Sunday. Every brain in every room is its own protagonist of its own story. There are not enough side characters to go around. The psychologists call the underlying mechanism anchoring. When you guess how visible something about you is, you do not start from neutral. You start from your own vivid, undeniable, screaming in your skull awareness of the thing. Then you try to adjust outward for the fact that everybody else is a stranger looking at their phone. The adjustment is almost never big enough. You stay anchored to how loud the thing was inside your own head. That's the trick. The embarrassment you carry feels like a glowing coal in your hand. It is impossible to ignore. So you assume everyone in the room can also see it glowing. They can't. They are holding their own coals. You are the only person who can feel yours. There's a deeper reason, too. Your brain wasn't built for the world you live in. For most of human history, you lived in a small band of 30 to 50 close associates, nested inside a clan of about 150 people. The number 150 has a name now. Anthropologist Robin Dunbar proposed it in 1992. It's called Dunbar's number. The point: everyone in your world knew everyone. In a group that small, your reputation wasn't a luxury. It was survival. Get pushed out of the group, you die in the cold. Standing out meant danger. You don't live in a tribe of 150 anymore. You walk past more strangers in a week than your ancestors met in a lifetime. Your brain didn't catch up. It's still running ancient software. Still convinced every set of eyes is a potential threat. Still screaming that everyone is watching. They are not. They never were. Hold on, you might think. What about social media? Isn't that the audience? Aren't we all on stage now? In some ways, yes. The platforms are deliberately built to make you feel watched. The likes, the view counts, the bone-deep knowledge that anything you put online could be screenshotted and laughed at by a stranger you'll never meet. But the research still holds. You agonize over a caption for 20 minutes. Half the people on your feed never even see the post. The ones who do scroll past in under 2 seconds. They are not studying it. They are wondering what to post next. The spotlight effect didn't disappear when we built the internet. It just moved to a screen. There is a particular kind of loneliness in posting to an algorithm and watching the engagement count tick up. You picture an audience of real people reacting to your real face. What you actually have is an audience of ghosts, eyeballs flicking past at scroll speed, then disappearing back into their own movie. The number on the screen lies about how seen you were. Gilovich and his colleagues found something even sneakier. They called it the illusion of transparency. You think your nervousness is visible. You think your boredom shows. You think the sadness behind a smile leaks out around the edges of your face. They tested it with a tray of red drinks. 15 cups. 5 of them were deliberately revolting. The subjects sipped each one on camera and tried to keep a poker face. Then, observers watched the tape and guessed which sips were the disgusting ones. The subjects were sure they had been radiating disgust. They predicted observers would spot the foul ones half the time. The observers caught it about a third of the time. The drinkers thought their faces were billboards. Their faces were a much weaker signal than they thought. They tested it with public speakers. The speakers swore their anxiety was screaming off them. The audience rated them as normal. The anxiety you feel pulsing in your chest is invisible. The embarrassment that makes your ears burn is invisible. The sadness you carry into a room is invisible. People are not reading your inner world. They are barely reading their own. In 2003, Savitsky and Gilovich ran one more experiment. Speakers about to give a public talk. Half were told about the illusion. Half were not. The speakers who knew that their anxiety was invisible felt less anxious. Their audiences rated them as more confident, more composed, more compelling. Just knowing it was a trick of the brain made them better at the thing they were afraid of. That's the only known fix. Knowing. So think about every room you have ever walked into already managing. Every hand you didn't raise. Every joke you swallowed. Every conversation you didn't start. All of that. Every quiet calculation about how you'd look was performed for an audience that wasn't watching. So try the thing. Wear the loud shirt. Ask the question that sounds dumb. Eat at the restaurant by yourself with no phone. Dance at the wedding even if you cannot dance. Take the dance class even though everyone there will be better. Apply for the job you don't think you're qualified for. The crowd you are performing for is mostly invisible and mostly busy. The few real eyes on you are kinder than your brain thinks, and they are looking for less time than your brain thinks, and they will forget faster than your brain thinks. Even the public failures don't have the audience your brain claims. Sing badly at karaoke, and 3 people half listen for the chorus. Pitch the idea that gets shot down in the meeting, and your 2 least favorite coworkers will be the only people who remember it tomorrow, and even they will have forgotten by Friday. The coworker who saw you stumble on the word forgot inside a minute. The stranger who saw you trip on the curb didn't actually look up. The room you walked into late this morning is right now not thinking about you. The mispronounced word from your 8th grade book report, the awkward joke at your friend's wedding, the thing you said in a meeting that did not land. You can still feel where the embarrassment hit you. The people who were in the room with you cannot. They have rooms of their own to remember, and theirs are just as full of small, private cringe as yours. The spotlight was always in your head. You are free to turn it off. New Curio every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Subscribe and the algorithm will do the rest.